On to our next session. Before moving to the next session, may I know who are all on the call, please? Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण नीता माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय प्रीतिदासी फ्रॉम शालरोड हरे कृष्ण and happy Ekadashi to everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Happy Ekadashi Mataji. Hare Krishna Preeti Mataji. Thank you so much Mataji for joining the call. I welcome you to the call. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much Mataji for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much Mataji for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Happy
Hare
Ekadashi
Krishna.
to everyone.
Happy
Ekadashi Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shyama Guri Devdasi from Charlotte. Happy Ekadashi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Shyama Gauri Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much Mataji for joining the call. Happy Ekadashi to you also Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Raleigh. Happy Ekadashi to everyone.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much Mataji for joining the call. Happy Ekadashi to you also Mataji. Hare Krishna. Is there anyone else who would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to the assembled Vaishnavas. Vasundhara Devi Dasi from Bangalore, India. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much Mataji for joining the call. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to the call Mataji. Happy Ekadashi to you also. Hare Bol.
We will start the recording, Mataji.
Okay,
Prabhuji
yeah,
is already
we'll start
there.
Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, thank you so much, dear devotees. I once again welcome all of you to the Bhakti Sangha conference call. So, today we will be moving on to the next session, that is Srimad Bhagavatam, which will be given by His Grace Sukumar Gaur Prabhuji. So, before moving to the session, I would like to hand over the call to Suresh Ram Prabhuji to give brief introduction about His Grace Sukumar Gaur Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Suresh Ram Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining the call. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Over to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Sorry, having problem with my camera today. Yeah, Sukumar Gaur Prabhuji was born in Maharashtra, India. Brought up in a social background where spirituality was often questioned. Later, Prabhuji developed a natural taste for inquiry into mysteries of God's creation. Passed out from engineering college, Pune, in mechanical engineering, he came in touch with devotees of International Society for Krishna Consciousness in 2003. He found all his questions answered in his books of Srila Prabhupada. In the books of Srila Prabhupada. As a student of MBA Finance, he studied Srila Prabhupada's books and became a sincere practitioner. He joined the NCDX as an assistant manager and worked for 3 years. Later, he took on 2-year brahmachari training course in Sri Sri Radha Gopinath, Mumbai, and was initiated into the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in 2010. He was in the youth preaching department and was in the seva of guiding the youth. He always wanted to share his joy of Krishna consciousness, the youth. So he gave up his job and decided to help the misguided youth by helping them understand the message of Bhagavad Gita. He joined ISKCON Chowpatty as a resident in 2009. Later, he was posted to ISKCON Nasik Temple. He's serving as a youth counselor in various colleges of Nasik. He conducts seminars on personality development, topics in educational and corporate sector. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Back to you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving such a brief introduction about Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Sukumar Gaur, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving us your valuable time and association today. And we are waiting for your Nectarian Katha, which has so many stories inside it. So I just the time is not enough actually hearing your Katha. So over to you, Prabhuji. So today we are going to have the Bhagavatam, the Canto 6, text, chapter 17 and text 19. Over to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So we'll start with the Mangala Charan prayers and then we'll take the verse. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Advaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitanamini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prachare Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatare Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavan Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 17, text number 19. The shloka is as follows. Can we see the shloka? Yeah, thank you. So this is text 19. Nayavatma na paraschapi karta syat sukha dukkhayo kartaram manyate kartaram manyate atragya atmanam paramevacha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In this material world, neither the living entity himself nor others, friends and enemies, are the cause of material happiness and distress. But because of gross ignorance, the living entity thinks that he and others are the causes. In this verse, the word agya is very significant. In material world, all living entities are agya, ignorant in different degrees. This ignorance continues very strongly in the mode of ignorance presented by material nature. One must therefore promote himself to the stage of goodness through his character and behavior, and then gradually come to the transcendental platform or the adokshaja platform, in which he realizes both his position and the position of others. Everything is done under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The process by which the results of actions are ordained is called Nityam, always working. Hare Krishna. So we welcome all the devotees for this morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. So grateful to all of you for allowing me to make a presentation here on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6. My respects to all the senior devotees and all the devotees assembled on call. So today we are discussing on the 19th shloka from chapter 17. The sixth canto is basically the canto of Poshana. Poshana means the protection that the Lord gives to his devotees. In this we have seen the protection given to Ajamil. Now we are seeing the protection that is given to Vritrasura or Chitraketu Maharaj. And then we'll come to the event where Indra protection will be seen in the further chapters. So protection of the Lord, when we say the word protection or when we understand the word protection, we have certain limitation in understanding. Protection we feel is of a certain type, a prototype, But according to Bhagavad, it is not at all a prototype. Every devotee, the protection that the Lord has given is of multi-type. It's not a similar type. Today also we'll be discussing, we'll take a recap of the Katha, and then we'll end the class with this one final point which Prabhupada has mentioned in his purport. So the protection that the Supreme Lord gives to every individual, every jiva, is absolutely very, very different. This shows the plan of the Lord for every jiva is very different. It is based on the level at which he is in the current position. And the only goal of the Lord is to bring the jiva close back to him as early as possible. So this shloka is giving an glimpse into this. Here it is said that in this material world, neither the na eva atma, the living entity, na parascha. Na parascha means neither the friends or the enemies, sukha dukkhayo, are the cause of material happiness and distress. But those who think others as the cause of their happiness and distress, it is because agya, because of the gross ignorance. And this ignorance is not a real one, but it is supposed. That is why the word used is manyate. He has accepted that as true, which is not true. That is why manyate. There is manyata in that. There is assumption in that. He has supposedly he has supposed it to be true, but whereas it is not true. Just like if there is a family, husband and wife living together over a period of time, either of the husband or wife leaves this world early, than if suppose the husband leaves early and the wife is left alone. Now, it may so happen that the husband has left the world 20 years ago, but if somebody calls the name of the husband, the lady immediately turns back and sees to who is calling to her husband's name. Now, the point is already 20 years have passed and the person is no more with her, but still her identification with that person is so strong that she identifies herself as being related to that person. So this is called as manyata. Before marriage, there is no relationship, but then there is this manyata that comes into place. He accepts, he thinks that okay, this is the relation which I want to be in, and that is how the relation starts. If he has to end the relation, then that manyata has to go. So it is all assumed, it is all manyata that we are acting in this world, and that is why whoever is functioning on this manyata, that I belong to this world, I belong to this people, set of people, the shloka calls that person as agya. It is nothing but exclusive gross ignorance of that person. And similarly, he thinks someone as his own and others as his enemy. That is what causes sukha dukkhayo. But none of these people are the reason for his sukha or dukkha. His sukha and dukkha is coming from somewhere else. So today in this session, we will try and highlight into some points from the previous shlokas of this chapter, and let's see how we can learn from this event of Chitraketu Maharaj. One theme that prominently we can see here is that this material world works on certain principles. Why principles? Because this is an official place. It's not our home. Just like functioning of a person at home and his workplace is absolutely different. Because workplace is more official and home is more of a casual sort of setting. And that is why there are not many rules that exist at home. But in office, every step that you take, every act that you do has to be done responsibility, because it's a official place. You're under observation all the while. So we have to the same understanding has to be applied to the material world and the spiritual world. Here we in the material world, it's more of an official place. It's not a homely place, and that is why every moment we have to be very cautious of every action that we are doing in this world. Other thing we see here is in the material world is continuously two events are taking place. There is creation and there is destruction. And this creation and destruction are interconnected. They follow each other. Creation is followed by destruction and destruction will be followed by creation. So this cycle of creation and destruction, Shrijan and Samhar, is continuously going on. Destruction, as what we are taught, we feel that destruction is end in itself. But if we read it from the vision of the scriptures, we will come to an understanding that destruction is not end in itself. It carries the seed of new creation in it. And same is with creation. Creation carries a seed of destruction in it, because this place there will be creation and destruction in cyclic form. That's the nature of this place. So no destruction is permanent and no creation is permanent here. They are in a cyclic form, they'll come and go. For example, let's try and understand this through example. Most of us must have seen what a volcano is. When the volcano erupts, it causes huge destruction in the nearby places. The entire place is covered by that hot molten lava, and the vegetation across the place is absolutely destroyed, is burnt, it's charred. But externally seeming, we may feel that now that place has been absolutely destroyed. The vegetation is completely destroyed. Let some time pass and the lava settles and the lava becomes absolutely cold. It's forming a layer on the earth surface. And after a while, if we see, there is a new vegetation that is coming up. And this vegetation will be far more superior than the previous one. Why? Because the soil is even more fertile now for the plants to grow. So externally seeming that lava destroyed, but it still carried a seed of creation, because that is so potent. Once that lava is settled, it has so many minerals that you put a seed and within short period of time it will start fructifying, because it is so nourishing. It's a new place now to grow. Yes, externally seeming it may be destruction, but it is carrying a seed of creation in it. Let's take another example, water. Water, when you put a seed into water, just like we have the sprouts, we soak them in water for a day or two, and then it starts sprouting. So that water has the power to create an environment where life can grow. But the same water, when it turns into saliva, when it takes the form of saliva, it has the power to break down that same sprout so that it can become digested. So that seemingly part of creation also has another form of destruction hidden in it. So yes, there was growth in water, but it also is carrying the power of destruction followed by that creation power. Same thing is applied in life events also. Sometimes life events seem to destroy a person completely, but that is not end of all in all. They also carry the facility for new growth to take place. And this is one point that I want to highlight in this chapter where Chitraketu Maharaj has been cursed. Here we see that Mother Parvati is cursing Chitraketu Maharaj. It's like her rage is like a volcano which has recently erupted, and there is seemingly a disaster that has taken place in the life of Chitraketu Maharaj. Chitraketu's Maharaj devotional life seems to have stopped for a while, but let the further chapter comes and it will be very clear when the lava settles down, and that same eruption will now turn into a fertile land for the love to rise to his next level. The love that he has for Lord Sankarshan, it will rise to a next level, and his separation will go so deep and intense that he will not be able to stay without the Lord for a moment. So the point is Shrishti and Pralay. Creation and destruction are ongoing processes, and they are always connected to each other. Creation follows destruction, destruction has the seed of creation in it. So they are not two events, but they follow one another. If the person is taught how to deal with the situations when there is destruction, for him creation will be of a new and high grade if he is able to deal with the current situation. And that is what we have to learn from the life of Chitraketu Maharaj. Here, if you observe the life of Chitraketu Maharaj, he was the entire of this planet, so much of wealth, huge power, everything that he wanted was there. But then he lacks something. He lacks a son. Somehow he gets a son, and then again he loses the son. And with the son, he loses his hope to live. But then again, that destruction had the seed. The son comes back to life by the mercy of Narad Muni. And then that son gives him the vision of how to deal with the life crisis. What has to be the thought process? He gives him new hope. And with that new hope, and with the instructions of Narad Muni, getting a mantra, then he is now able to grow to another level. So every phase of Chitraketu Maharaj, this creation, destruction is taking place. And everywhere he's been guided so that he can start newly to grow some things, and other things which are not required has to be destroyed. If we read this chapter very nicely, we will see that there are some things which caused destruction for him, and there are some things which created that new platform from where he could grow back in his spiritual life. So here we see in the second and the third shloka that Lord Sankarsana he got darshan of the Lord, and it was possible by the mantra that was given to him by Narad Muni. The Lord blesses him. In second and third shloka, we see what did the Lord bless him with. It is absolutely fascinating to see that in second and third shloka, we see that Chitraketu Maharaj has been praised by great sages, saints, inhabitants of Siddhaloka, Charanaloka. Why? Because now he has become the king of the Gandharva. So everybody is glorifying. Now, why these names have been specifically mentioned? Because it will be connected later. The Siddhas and the Charanas, whom he is worshipped by, who are worshipping him, that same group of people, not same, but that category of people will also be there with Lord Shiva, who are hearing the Krishna Katha from Lord Shiva. And this is one point which will cause interruption in his practices. And he is the most powerful mystic, and he is having a life which is millions of years, bodily strength, undefined bodily strength, senses which are free from alteration. He is traveling wherever he wants. He is enjoying life with the Vidyadharas and the women of the Vidyadhara Loka. And what is he doing all the while? He is glorifying the Supreme Lord every single moment. And the Lord has personally given him that Vimana, that airplane has been personally gifted to him by Lord Sankarshan. So with all these facilities, that new strength of the body, the new strength of the senses that he has got is like that new creation. But look at the point that the same creation is carrying a seed of destruction for him. That point will be coming to. So the worship that he was getting from the Siddhas and the Charanas, Tuyamano Mahayogi Munivi Siddha Charana. The Muni, the Siddhas, the Charanas, Tuyamano, they are constantly glorifying him. But what happened was this glorification, he was not very careful. And that same glorification had the seed to create disaster in his life. Because somewhere he forgets that it belongs to Guru and Krishna, it doesn't belong to me. Just like in the case of Indra, we'll see that Indra also forgets to worship his Guru. He thinks that this is my power. And his Guru says, okay, let it be your power. And his Guru leaves. And as soon as Guru leaves, Brahaspati leaves, Indra is bereft of all his powers. So very soon, Chitraketu Maharaj will also be made bereft of his powers, that which he is carrying, the beauty, the strength, the fame, everything that is carried will be lost in no matter of time. So one has to be one who is constantly being glorified has to be very careful that this worship doesn't belong to me, it belongs to Guru and Krishna. And if one is not careful, then this same thing can become disastrous for him. Just like in the fourth shloka, Uvacha Shrinvatya Jahasa Uche Devya Tadantike. He's saying Chitraketu Maharaj laughed loudly. Jahasa means his laughter was so loud. Uche, very loud. Devya Tadantike. And while he was in the vicinity of Devi, Parvati Devi, and Shrinamatya, she heard Uvacha what he said. So Chitraketu Maharaj laughed so loudly and spoke so loudly that everybody there was able to hear. Now, why did he laugh? 6th, 7th, 8th shloka now is showing 2 points that what was on his mind. So 2 points that we see here is he's trying to find out faults in Lord Shiva. And how is he trying to do that? He's trying to compare what he is seeing in Lord Shiva, and he's trying to compare it with ordinary men. So that comparison parameter has come, and that is trying to find out faults in Lord Shiva. Just like 6th and 7th shloka, he is showing the contrary behavior of Lord Shiva. Esha Loka Guru Sakshad. Oh, you are the Loka Guru. You are the Guru of every living entity. Dharma Vakta, and I see that you are in a great assembly, Sharirina. You are the Dharma Vakta. You are the representation of Dharma. You are teaching what is Dharma and what is not Dharma. Of to whom? Shaririram. To all those who have taken body. Aste Mukhya Sabhayam Vai. And you are the Mukhya of this Sabha. You are the principal leader of this Sabha. Mithuni Bhuya Bharyaya. Oh, and what do I see here? You are Lokaguru, you are Dharma Vakta, you are Mukhya Sabhayam, you are the Mukhya or the principal person in the Sabha. But oh, Mithuni Bhuya Bhareya, oh, it is so wonderful that in this assembly, the principal person is sitting along with his wife, embracing his wife in the assembly of great saintly people. What does he say further? Jatadharas Tivratapa Brahmavadi Sabhapati. Oh, you are Jatadhara. Jatadhara means you have performed so much of tapasya that your hairs have grown into a jata. Tivratapa, your tapasya is so tivra, so intense. Brahmavadi Sabhapati. You are the president of assembly of strict followers of Vedic principles. You are the Sabhapati, you are the main person. You are the president of the assembly. But oh, look at what deep contradiction do I see here. Anikikritya striyam chaste. Oh, you are embracing a woman in this assembly. And how does this behavior look like? Gatari prakrito yatha. Gatari means it seems like a shameless person. Prakrito. Prakrito means an ordinary lusty man. So your behavior, my dear Lord Shiva, you are such a great person, Brahmavadi Sabhapati, but still your behavior is absolutely contradictory to the post that you have taken. So he feels that there is contradiction in the behavior of Lord Shiva and what he should represent are absolutely two different things. He doesn't see anything similar to them. And that is why he says, Anikikritya striyam chaste. You have made your wife sit on your lap. Okay, sitting is one thing. You are embracing your wife in this assembly, Brahmavadi Sabhapati. And when he sees him, then in the 8th shloka, he compares him even to an ordinary man. In the 7th shloka also has compared. But then he is saying that how do I come to this conclusion or what do I see? He says, what ordinary prefer men to act in solitary place, you are acting in open assembly of sages, not people, but sages, great sages. Prayasa prakritas chapi striyam rahasi bibharti. Rahasi means alone. Striyam means men and women coming together. Bibharti, embracing. But how do they do that? Rahasi, alone. When they are alone, they do that. Ayam Mahavrata Dharo. Oh, you are such a great person. Mahavrata, you are Akhanda Brahmachari. Mahavrata Dharmi, you are Akhanda Brahmachari. Bibharti Sadasi Striyam, you are embracing a lady in open. Oh, this doesn't look good. What ordinary men fear doing in public, you are doing that in public. They do it alone, and here you are embracing her in the entire assembly. So the word Mahavrata Dharmi, he is indicating that you are such a great brahmachari and yet you are doing this thing. So here two things are shown. He understands he is a great brahmachari, but he will not fall down. So Lord Shiva is the best of the yogis and he is so self-controlled. He is so self-controlled that even if the most beautiful, not some ladies, the most beautiful lady in the creation, Mother Parvati is sitting on his lap. At times, when a male sees a female and female sees a male, if the person is very attractive, immediately mind starts rushing to there and emotions start developing here. Just by seeing her, she's sitting and she's the most beautiful lady in the creation. So in one sense, Chitraketu Maharaj is also appreciating the Dhira Vad, the Dhira aspect of Lord Shiva, that how controlled this person is, that he is absolutely unaffected by this situation of allowing a lady to sit on his lap and giving classes to people who are absolutely self-controlled. So he is indicating to his inconceivable power. So we should not think that Chitraketu Maharaj is an offender. He is merely expressing his wonder. He is absolutely amazed. How can this be? How can he do this? What strength does he carry? So Chitraketu Maharaj, although he has criticized Lord Shiva, he did not offend Lord Shiva like like Daksha. Because Daksha, what? How did you offend him? Because Daksha considered Lord Shiva as very insignificant. Here he is amazed. Chitraketu Maharaj here is amazed with the power of Lord Shiva. So Chitraketu Maharaj is expressing his wonder at Lord Shiva being situated in such a great position. So no one should think that Chitraketu Maharaj is offender like Daksha. He is amazed. The point that has happened here is that one mistake most of us, most of the time we make is the way of expressing things. That is what went wrong. His mindset was absolutely clean and clear, but the way he expressed has got him to such into such difficulty. So the point here we have to understand is bhakti is all about how you make other feel in your presence. And also on the contrary, bhakti is also what people feel in your absence. Do they feel, okay, it's nice that he hasn't come, or are they waiting that you should come, you should interact, you should be a part of their life? Here, Chitraketu Maharaj created an awkward position for Lord Shiva, his followers, and also for his wife. And that is where Parvati, and it's okay if he has done it once, he is doing it multiple times. This is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in his commentary. Once is okay, twice is okay, but multiple times when that same thing starts happening, it surely creates a rage of anger in the mind of the people whom that person is connected to. And now this word Chitraketu Maharaj speaks. His words were sarcastic, sometimes harsh, and also provoking. Now, what was the response of Lord Shiva and his followers? For this, we need to understand the relationship first between Lord Shiva and Chitraketu Maharaj. See, both of them are worshippers of Lord Sankarshan. We all know this. If we read Bhagavad, 5th canto, 16th chapter, 17th verse, there is description of the various verses that come, the creation of the Supreme Lord. And in this, we see the Ilavarta Varsha, where Lord Shiva is worshipped. Lord Shiva worships Lord Shankarshan. This is 5, 16, 17. And in that 17th shloka, Lord Shiva is saying, he's saying that I know that you are the cause of the existence. And so he always meditates on him by chanting the mantra of Lord Sankarshan. So the word Shankar comes from Shankarshan. One who meditates on Sankarshan is Shankar. That is how it comes. And in the 18th shloka, Lord Shiva requests Lord Sankarshan to accept him as his servant. 5, 16, 17, and 18. That entire chapter is it covers the prayers of Lord Shiva. So Chitraketu Maharaj is also worshipper of Lord Sankarshan. Lord Shiva is also worshipper of Lord Sankarshan. So in one sense, they have the same master. Means they belong to same person, Lord Sankarshan. So it's like you can say both of them are like God brothers in relationship. So amongst relationship of God brothers or God sisters, there is a space where we can joke with each other, we can have some fun. And that has to depend on the intimacy and the hierarchy which they share. That has to be compulsory there. If there is lack of intimacy, then that same humor can create a major break in the relationship of the God brothers or God sisters. So here, of course, Lord Shiva knew that he is also worshipping Lord Sankarshan. I also worship Lord Sankarshan. So yes, we are God brothers, and as God brothers, we have the right for correction also. Lord Shiva takes this as a correction. Chitraketu Maharaj made one mistake here. He thought I also worship Sankarshan. He also worships Lord Sankarshan. So Chitraketu Maharaj made this fault of thinking that he and Lord Shiva are on the same level. And he took the onus of correcting Lord Shiva, which was the major mistake. That is why the word manyate that comes in this current shloka is very, very important. Prabhupada writes this as the first line. Why? Because he thought to himself that correction is my onus. I, as a God brother, have to correct Lord Shiva. That onus is on me. But it's not necessary that every time we take the onus of correcting our God brothers and God sisters. Firstly, we have to check, are we given the authority to correct somebody? Is this the right place to correct? Are the words that we are using correct? Will that person feel hurt? All these parameters have to be checked. And in that great enthusiasm to correct, taking the responsibility of correction on himself, Chitraketu Maharaj made a great blunder here. Now let's check the response of the followers. That is also very important, because here how a follower has to be, that is also to be understood. So it has to be in accordance of what they have learned from the master. Who is a real follower? What he has learned, he doesn't just learn, but he also understands the mind of his master, and he acts according to what his master wants. And who are these people? Nobody can directly learn from Lord Shiva. You surely have to be very extraordinary, because the classes that Lord Shiva is giving are on an absolute different level. Anybody who is on a bodily platform can't be a part of his classes, because they're super duper extraordinary. They can't be handled by general public. For example, if anybody amongst the people who are staying here on this earth planet are supposed to go and sit in the class which Chitraketu Maharaj is seeing, attending the class given by Lord, he'll surely be bewildered. Why? Because there is a lady who is absolutely beautiful, absolutely stunning. She is extraordinarily beautiful. There are verses after verses describing her beauty. And in that class, she doesn't sit amongst the audience, she sits on the Vyasasan. Not only on the Vyasasan, she is sitting on the lap of Lord Shiva. And if this sight arouses some different emotions in the mind of the listener, what do you think? Will that person be able to understand the class? No. So hearing Katha from Lord Shiva directly is absolutely great, extraordinary, but the person also has to be extraordinary. Means, in short, he has to be absolutely self-controlled. There has to be no tinge of any other anartha in his mind, only then you can hear from Lord Shiva. So these are the people who are hearing the class, and look at the response. What is the response given by the listeners? They show the level of what a actual sadhaka or student is. So you're seeing the entire class that is going on. Chitraketu Maharaj is expressing his wonder. Oh, what kind of audience this is! Absolutely unaffected. Master is also unaffected. Students are also unaffected. So the students are qualified to hear from such a, and that is why they understood the mind of Lord Shiva. What Lord Shiva was thinking, they understood, and that is why they didn't say anything. As Lord Shiva smiled, they also smiled. So they followed the leader. Lord Shiva kept silence when Chitraketu Maharaj spoke. On the contrary, we see Daksha. Daksha got angered, and his followers, Bhrigu Adi Rishi, also started getting angry, and they started shouting curses. They were affected, but here the sages are not affected. Why they are not affected? Because just like Lord Shiva understood what was there on the mind of Chitraketu Maharaj, they also understood what was there on mind of Chitraketu Maharaj. So what was there on Chitraketu Maharaj's mind? He was worried about the spiritual life of other people. Chitraketu Maharaj desired that Lord Shiva ceases this external behavior so that others might be saved from criticizing him and becoming an offender at the lotus feet of Lord Shiva. Because most of the people see Lord Vishnu as a perfect being. His behavior is absolutely perfect. He is the supreme. But at times, this tendency to find faults among demigods becomes very prominent, and that could be a great trap, just like here Chitraketu Maharaj has got trapped. Even demigods like Shiva, if some improper behavior is seen, and if somebody points out that behavior, he becomes an offender. So considering all this, the concern, see it, the agenda of pointing fault was very great. It was super. It was a concern, in the burning concern in the mind of Chitraketu Maharaj. Considering all this, Chitraketu Maharaj spoke. Concern was good, but what came out was something that was not very pleasing in terms of, in regards to the behavior of Lord Shiva. So Bari Rishi also offended Garudji. Just like Chitraketu Maharaj had concern for other people, he wanted to save them from criticizing Lord Shiva, going on judging Lord Shiva externally. Swabhari Rishi also had a good agenda, save the fish. But at what cost? He offended Garuda. Here, offense took place. Not offense, but it was taken as an offense. But even after that, Lord Shiva smiled. Why? Because Lord Shiva, who is always deep in his knowledge, could understand Chitraketu's purpose. See what a beauty is in this relationship. When some God brother or some God sister corrects me, I should look at the purpose with which she has come, the intent at which she had come. The intent of the person has to be understood. But we are so self-absorbed, so self-involved that we don't ever think that this person has come with a good intention. Lord Shiva was able to understand the purpose. That is why he didn't get angry. Rather, he simply smiled and said, okay, no problem. And he remained silent. The members of assembly surrounding Lord Shiva could also understand his purpose and they also remained silent, simply smiled. They consequently, what happened? They followed the behavior of Lord Shiva. They did not protest. They followed their master. Why? Because they understood that it's okay, that somebody can get correction. Who is getting correction here? A great personality like Lord Shiva is getting correction. So what if we get corrected by some of our God sisters or God brothers? Why do we get so offended? Here, who is getting corrected? He is none other than the Devadidev Mahadev. He is getting corrected. Of course, the method of correction is wrong, but still he focused on what? He focused on the intention of the person who is there to correct him. The intent has to be considered. Chitraketu Maharaj's purpose was considered here. And the members also understood. Because if the members would have thought this is wrong, they would have at once left the assembly. Because that's wrong. And when there is Vaishnava Aparad, you should not stay there. You should just leave this place. So the point is, Chitraketu Maharaj was thinking that I want to establish the proper conduct that will be beneficial for the world. Just like Lord Vishnu benefits the world because of his proper conduct, I want Lord Shiva to have a proper conduct. His conduct should not be judged by anyone, or else it will cause infamy to Lord Shiva and aparad, offense to the other person. So this is what we understand here. Now, we have to understand one point, that every person is a different individual. There was one group of followers of Lord Shiva who kept silent. They also smiled, said, okay, we accept your feedback. But there was one person who couldn't take the feedback in a proper way. Not proper way, but as it is, she was not able to take. There is one follower of Lord Shiva. She chose to react in a different way, and that is absolutely okay. Every person has a different thought process. Every person has a different understanding. Every person can have a different opinion, and that is okay. Mother Parvati gave her opinion on this event. It's okay. It may seem harsh, but there was something hidden in it. That destruction seed which she threw on Chitraketu Maharaj had the seed of new creation, of intensifying the prem in the mind of Chitraketu Maharaj. When he spoke, she was angered. Atat virya vidushi. She is saying, Bruvane, she spoke. She says, you don't know the power of Lord Shiva. Bahu osh ashobhanam. You don't have any etiquette of how to speak and how to respond. This is what she is speaking. Rusha, with great anger, Devi goddess Parvati, she said. Drishtaya. Drishtaya means you are absolutely shameless. Nirjita Atma, your control, your tongue is uncontrolled. It speaks anything to anybody. Abhimani, you think yourself as greater than Lord Shiva. So she is saying indirectly that not knowing the power of Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva, Chitraketu Maharaj chose to correct, and his statement was not at all pleasing. Therefore, Goddess Parvati, she became angry and she shouting words, very difficult words. Why? Because he is thinking that he is not able to control his senses. And the most difficult sense to control is this tongue. The urge to speak, the urge to correct, the urge to tell that I am right and you're wrong is so intense. It's so intense. Even Chitraketu Maharaj had a tough time controlling that. And she could sense that pride in Chitraketu Maharaj. Difficulty was Chitraketu Maharaj, he thought that I am such a great devotee of Lord Shankarshan. So he had that pride, seed of pride. See that there was new creation, that new love he got for Lord Vishnu. Even that had that seed of pride, seed of destruction, if it is not handled properly. So he had that pride. See, I am a great devotee of Lord Sankarshan. I have achieved favor of Lord Sankarshan. And I am so great now that I have got the authority to criticize anyone. And even if it is Lord Shiva, I can correct him. And this is what Mata Parvati sensed. And she said, this kind of pride should not be tolerated. So, point is, while he corrected Lord Shiva, he didn't understand that it was not his authority, it was not the good place, it was a public place. And the way he used, the words he used were trying to minimize the position of Lord Shiva. And that is why Mother Parvati couldn't take it. It was very difficult for her because Lord Shiva is her only possession in life. And when somebody is attached to something or some opinion or some object or some person or some post, it becomes very difficult. So, preaching, we have to deal with each and every person individually. It is not a generic thing. We have to understand. Most of us, somehow there is a trend. Yes, Prabhupada did say that demigod worship is not for us. Yes, but there are people who are still attached to demigod worship. And what we do is we give them left, right, center beating, and they feel that our shelter is been taken away. And because of that, most, not most, but many of newcomers have left our society because they have that shraddha, that trust, their faith, that attachment. Till the time their attachment to Lord Krishna becomes strong, we should not, because they are still attached. And it's okay because all these demigods are who? They are representatives of Lord Krishna. But most of the time we don't check the level of attachment, and immediately I'll tell you mm, one event that happened. Some of our devotees were standing on a bookstore, which we usually put at our temple gate, and it were initial days, and a lot of students used to come, and we used to show, take this book, take this book, take this book, and nobody used to take. Hardly one or two people used to take books. Then started thinking why people are not taking books. And like this, a month passed, and all were worried. Nobody's taking. Not many people are buying books. So then one devotee, he suggested that I'll tell you how to teach. So when what happens is, when we tell people buy this book, buy this book, buy this book, what people feel that they are not here for me. They are here for selling books. They are not interested in me. They are interested in these books. Then we changed the strategy. We told them, what is the most burning question that you have in your life right now? And that person used to say, oh, I'm going through a tough time handling my anger. And then we give him a 10 rupee, 20 rupee small book, How to Overcome Anger, written by Radheshyam Prabhu, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, and many authors we have. And he used to feel, oh, he is here for me. He is concerned about me. And it was so amazing. Within a short period of time, in 1 month, we could touch book sales worth 1 lakh rupees. Why? Because the focus is not book, the focus is person. We have to understand he's attached to something and he's going through a problem. When we keep him in center in dealing his problem, immediately the entire focus. So people didn't buy one book. They said, show me this, what is there, what is there. Can you imagine 1 month, 1 lakh sales in books, which is quite something. So that thing Chitraketu Maharaj did. And Mother Parvati, she is like very upset with what Chitraketu Maharaj thought. And she's saying, you are the person who is not able to control your senses. Do you think you're a better sense controller than Lord Shiva? Because see, Lord Shiva is also called as Brahmachari. Chitraketu Maharaj is also brahmachari. And there was a fun that was taking place between Chitraketu Maharaj and Lord Shiva. Chitraketu Maharaj is saying to Lord Shiva, you are a brahmachari and you are sitting with a lady here. Don't you feel what people will say? Lord Shiva is telling him, I am sitting with one lady. See how many you have. You have millions. Initially also you had million wives. Now also millions are following you. So they were having that fun. But what happened was the way others took it has created disturbance. See, relationship intimacy is one part, but presenting it before world is another part. If we don't present that before the world in a proper way, then it can create a lot of dissension. I'll tell you one story I remember. Once in initial days when the temple started newly here in Nasik, so a group of devotees from Mumbai, Chowpatty Mandir came, and a lot of devotees, around 500 devotees came, and it was the big yatra, a lot of management there. So His Grace Shikshashtam Prabhu personally went to receive the team of devotees there, and we know Sudama Prabhu. No, Shridama Prabhu is the Grahastha in Chopati temple. So he had come, he was the leader of that yatra. And immediately as Prabhuji and Shridama Prabhu, they met. Now we know both of them are senior devotees. And immediately Shridama Prabhu, he touched Prabhuji's feet. They fell down and he offered his obeisances and he touched Prabhuji. And Prabhuji said, why are you doing this? You're senior to me. You shouldn't do this. Very wonderfully, Shridama Prabhu, he replied. He said, Prabhu, it is one thing that we are good friends, but how we deal with each other, people will follow. If I don't respect you, do you feel those who have come with me will respect you? Love is one thing, displaying the love is another thing. Correcting is one thing, proper way of correcting is one thing. Correction has to be done, correction is required. Sanatan Goswami, Srila Sanatan Goswami corrected Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, don't go with so many people to Vrindavan. He did correct, but it was in a very different mood. It was in mood of service. What Chitraketu Maharaj did was in mood of authority. I have the authority. I am superior to you, so I can correct. And that is what was absolutely not pleasing to Mother Parvati. So she says, your words are not at all auspicious because you are not the one who should be teaching Lord Shiva. You are proud, and that is why you have spoken so fearlessly. You have a false identity. You think that you have brought Lord Sankarshan under your control. Now, question may arise: is it that Mother Parvati didn't understand his motive? No, she did understand his motive. She did understand the intention. She also understood that Lord Shiva is smiling, looking at Chitraketu Maharaj. But the point is, she was saying, you criticized my husband once is okay, thrice is okay, 4 times is okay, but you are repeatedly doing that. That is what is not very pleasing to me. That is what the reason for my anger is. This is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in his commentary. He did it multiple times. Once is okay, twice is okay. He did it multiple times. And that is why she was angered. She was enraged. Now, her anger was super high. 11 shloka, she is saying, you are nirlajja, you have no lajja, you have no shame. You are acting as if you are self-appointed. Who appointed you? Shastra Dandadhara Prabhu Asmat Vidhanam Dushtanam. Do you think you have the rod of punishment with you and you can punish anybody and everybody? There are posted authorities. Oh, the posted authorities have forgotten their job. And so you're doing their job now. No, acha, nobody knows what is right and wrong. And there is only one person in this creation who knows right and wrong. And that is why you are speaking. You feel it, you are a great devotee of Lord Sankarshan. And that is why in the 15th shloka she says, my impudent son. She is speaking exactly like a mother. When a mother sees that her child is acting naughty, she punishes her so that he doesn't repeat that mistake again. And that is why your mother Parvati curses Chitraketu Maharaj. And what happens now? Most of the time we erupt. When the emotions erupt, we speak abruptly. But when the wave of anger settles, then we come to understanding, oh, what have I done? Just like in Mahabharata, when Dhritarashtra when the Pandavas come back after the Lakshagraha event, they come safe back to Hastinapur. Then there is a talk that is going on in the entire Kuruvamsha. Now, who will become the king? So, will Dhritarashtra give back the kingdom? So, now there is the huge assembly, everybody is sitting there, and the Pandavas tell that, please give us our kingdom back. But then Dhritarashtra says that, oh, see, my son is also attached, so we have to do something. So, we will divide the kingdom. Now, Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying, okay, you divide, no problem. In one sense, Dhritarashtra doesn't have the authority to divide. And then in between, Bhishma comes because he thinks that if I don't stop them here, if the division doesn't take place, war is sure to happen. And Bhishma says, okay, partition is good, give them this place, give them this. Now, which place to give to whom? Then Dhritarashtra, see how cunning is. He's saying, I think Pandava should be given Khandaprastha. Now, everybody is amazed in the entire Kurusabha. Why? Because Hastinapur is so royal. Khandaprastha is a desert place, jungle, all ghost, spirit, rakshasas, snakes living there. What reason Dhritarashtra gives? He says, see, I am so confident about the power of this Pandava that they are so powerful that they can even create desert into heaven. And that is why I want to test their power, and that is why I am giving them Khandaprastha. And you will be amazed. Krishna says, okay, give us Khandaprastha, we'll do whatever we want to do. But four brothers, except Yudhishthira, all four brothers are super angry. They didn't want, they felt that this is devastated, this is end of our life. What we waited for all the while is now gone. There is pralay, this is the end, there is no new start. We can't do anything new. There can't be new Srishti. But then Krishna tells Arjuna why he did that. But before that, Arjuna is so angry, he's continuously at night, he's practicing, he's shooting arrows in great anger. At that time, Bhishma comes there and he sees that he's firing one arrow after another into trees, trying to destroy the trees. And that is where Bhishma tells him a very beautiful thing. He says, my dear son, these trees can't speak. When you shoot your arrow, they can't speak. And you are not able to perceive their pain. And that is how anger acts. Anger takes away the power of understanding what right is and what wrong is. So first give up your anger and then you can start thinking. So now the wave of anger has gone. Mother Parvati, her anger wave has now subsided, and then she understands, oh, I shouldn't have done this. I have cursed an innocent devotee, and she repents, oh, my son. She says, just like a mother beats a misbehaving child with her own hand, but the point is her affection. That is why I punished you so that you don't commit this misbehavior act again. When a child misbehaves in someone else's house, the mother punishes the child. She says, you uncontrolled child, don't do this again. So the test of a devotee is in handling this situation of destruction, which seemingly is destructive, but it still has that seed of new creation. So was Chitraketu Maharaj affected? Absolutely no, he was not at all affected. He understood that it was for his good, in order to remove the improper behavior of the leaders of the Vidyadhara Lok, who is Chitraketu Maharaj, in order to increase the hunger of prem, the fire of separation in him, and to bestow upon him the enjoyment of great sweetness at the lotus feet of the Lord of Vaikuntha. Lord Sankarshan inspired Mother Parvati to curse him. It was the Lord who had enacted the entire play. So just like in this shloka, Prabhupada says that everything is happening under the order of the Lord. Same thing is happening here. Behind every creation and destruction, there is the Lord. Behind every happiness and destruction, is the Lord's plan. Even in the life of a devotee. In the pastime of Ajamil, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, right? Chanting had already destroyed the sinful reactions and desires of Yajamil. So then the Yamdutas asked Vishnu Totasvatan, why is he sinning again? So they are saying it's like the snake bite, but there is no poison in the snake bite. It will create mark, but it will not affect the person. Why? Because that Krishna connection is constantly there. That connection to Krishna removes the entire stock of desires and sinful reaction. So rest assured for all of us, whatever is coming in our life is through the agency of the Supreme Lord. Why? Just to make sure that we reach Him at the earliest. Why so? Just like Chitraketu Maharaj is enjoying, he's happy, he's thinking, this is it. I am happier in the Gandharva Loka. I am continuously singing the glories of the Supreme Lord. But he forgot that chanting is one thing, getting absorbed in one thing, but returning back to the Supreme Lord, that is the goal. Chitraketu Maharaj is still in the material world. He feels, oh, this is a nice place, this is good, everything is good. He's not coming to the next level of getting back to the Supreme Lord. That desire has to be arisen in him. That, oh, you have to return to the spiritual world. I have to be with the Lord all the way. That is, I see the three verses that Chitraketu Maharaj, Vritrasur sings in 4 shlokas, that is saying the Bija shlokas. He's saying, I have that intense hankering now. I cannot leave here. When he was the king of Gandharva Loka, he's not feeling that I want to be with the Lord. I'm happy chanting. I'm happy chanting. No, it's not about you. The Lord started feeling separation from Chitraketu Maharaj. After giving him the wealth of bhakti, he gave him the body of Vritrasur by the curse of Parvati Bai to bring him to his side so that he can come back. So, with this point, I would end simply by saying that all those who are chanting, all those who are chanting have already attracted the attention of the Supreme Lord. And please note that he is eagerly, super eagerly waiting for all of us to get back to him. And whatever is coming in our life is exclusively so that we start feeling that this is not a good place. I want to go back to my Lord. Even if this is a good place, even if this is a Gandharva Loka, even if thousands of people are glorifying me and I am glorifying the Supreme Lord, this is not my place. This is an official place. I want to go back to my home. Just like Prabhupada used to say, back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Such a wonderful class. So initially you started saying that the material world is office and the spiritual world is home. So from there and the end also you finished the same. So saying that this material world is our office. So and we have to follow all the rules and regulations to go back to our home. So that is really very understandable. And so many examples you gave, Prabhuji. So saying how you connected Chitraketu with creation and destruction, it was really very amazing, giving the example of water and then the lava. So that was really very helpful to understand. So in fact, for me, I got a clear picture of what Chitraketu is going through and why Mother Parvati has cursed him. And it's all the drama, the play of the Lord who is in separation of Chitraketu. So thank you so much, Prabhuji, for such a wonderful class. Devotees, any questions, please go ahead. So, Prabhuji, I have a question. Like we are saying that the Lord wants Chitraketu to come back. So, why is it so? The Lord, because Chitraketu is a great devotee of the Lord, isn't that?
Your voice is breaking. I couldn't hear you completely.
Can you hear now, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Can you hear now?
Yes, it's more clear now.
Yeah. So you told that the Lord wants Chitraketu back to Godhead. So why is it so? Because he is a great devotee. That's why the Lord wanted him, or how it is, Prabhuji? How to understand that?
Yes.
Because we usually say the Lord wants us all to come to back to Godhead. But for me, I'm saying I'm not a very great devotee anymore. So I don't know when I will go. So in this case,
No, it is not about greatness. Yes. So it is not about greatness. It is about sweetness. Okay. Every devotee carries a sweetness of service, loving service, a type of service that he has, a mood of service that he has developed while his practice of sadhana. And every now and then, the Lord, when we chant, when we serve, when we are with devotees, that sweetness always arises in the practice of the devotee. And this is what the Lord is constantly tasting. See, just like in India, we have this play where small girls are given a ready-made kitchen. But it is made up of plastic, and all the utensils are plastic. Gas stove is plastic, and whatever they get something, they make a dough, they make a chapati, they roll it, and then okay, the entire thing is taking place. But more than the child, the mother is enjoying, because for the mother, it is not about that play. It is about the point that she is getting ready to do this in a practical way in the next in phase of her life. Similarly, more than our chanting, more than our struggle, we may not relish it, but the Lord is relishing it, because while we are serving here, He is already planning for each devotee where I'll place him, how I will reciprocate with him, the ways and means by which I'll reciprocate in him. So it is more about the sweetness that the Lord is deriving from each devotee. So that it is not about greatness, because every single living entity here which is created by the Lord is great. Since the Lord is great, His creation is great. So anyway, you as a person is absolutely great. There is no doubt in that. But more than that greatness, the sweetness of service, the sweetness in which you're trying to struggle to remember Krishna, that sweetness Krishna is tasting, and that is why He wants you there back to Him.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That was really very satisfying answer. And in your reply, you were saying that the Lord has created all the. You can hear me?
Yes, yes.
So the Lord had created all the living entities. So certainly everyone is as a part and parcel of the Lord. They are really good, but still we find so much difference between among the living entities, right, Prabhuji? So in human beings itself, I'm saying like there are good humans, there are bad humans, like that I'm saying. So why that difference is happening then? If everyone
So that
is a
will come
part.
in seventh canto. That is the part of seventh canto. Uti. Uti is the good and bad inclination that the jiva cultivates. Then there, the entire seventh canto is about how Hiranyakashipu became cultivated bad desires, and how Prahlad Maharaj cultivated good desires. By the curse, the improper association that they had with the four Kumaras, they had this bad uti, the bad desires erupted in the heart of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. On the contrary, we see Prahlad Maharaj in the womb of his mother. He is deeply in connection, associating with Narad Muni day in, day out, hearing from him, and that created a positive uti in him. So it is all about the association that a person has that will create various desires.
Okay. Okay, probably. So, and also getting the human form, also some pious activity that the soul must have performed, right? So that's why they are getting, but still, because of the association, they are not getting that taste.
There are
Okay.
two things.
Thank you so
One
much.
is the
Yeah.
association and the lack of sukruti that the jiva carries from his previous life.
Lack of sukruti. Lack of sukruti in the sense.
In the sense that he doesn't have those spiritual credits by which he can gain the association of devotee in this life, current life.
So, which means he must have not done the spiritual activities in his previous life.
Lack of spiritual credits, correct. He lacks spiritual credits. And that is why when a devotee comes to temple, we usually feed him prasad, give him darshan. So all these activities will increase his spiritual credits, and he'll start seeking the association of devotees seriously.
Okay. Okay. So then that is the difference between the pious credits and the spiritual credits.
Spiritual credits.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I could see hand raise. Kemi Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Beautiful class. Got a good understanding of Chitraketu Maharaj's position and what his intentions were and how Lord Shiva dealt with it. And so my question here is, Prabhu, that there is a discussion or emphasis like Chitraketu Maharaj had several women with him and he was enjoying, and here Lord Shiva has a beautiful Parvati Mata on his lap. So is this, sort of description about women, is it for us to understand the difference how in material world they are like a source of enjoyment, but in the spiritual world it's more of a they are singing the glories of the Lord, in the Vidyadhara planet with Chitraketu Maharaj. And same thing is Parvati Mata is listening to the Lord's discourse on Bhagavatam. Is this description, about women specifically, is that what we understand from this? Is this why it is described this way?
Okay,
I
so
don't know if my question is clear, Prabhu.
yeah, I'll rephrase and let me know if it is correct. So your question is this event where we see Chitraketu Maharaj with thousands of women from the Gandharva and Vidyadhara Loka, and here we see on the other hand Lord Shiva is sitting with the most beautiful lady, Mother Parvati. So is it that in Gandharva Loka, which is like representing the spiritual world where women are constantly singing the glories of the Supreme Lord, and here Mother Parvati is been depicted as a object for enjoyment? Is this what you want to say?
No, Prabhu. In the material world, like in the world where we live, women is like a source of enjoyment. But here they are with thousands of women and singing the glories of the Lord, and Mata Parvati is listening to Bhagavatam. So they are at a different level than what we perceive a woman in an ordinary way in a material world.
Okay. So see, actually, here it is not about a women that has been spoken. Yes, material world, there is a tendency, but that tendency to see a female as an object for enjoyment, it is indicative of the state of mind of that person. Okay, in the spiritual world or in the higher realms, there is enjoyment, but there is a superior enjoyment which they both indulge in, and that is about singing the glories of the Supreme Lord. Here on this planet, where we see it is only about that physical attraction, but these people, they do have physical attraction, but it's less than what we have, but they are more into singing the glories of the Supreme Lord. That is what has been highlighted here. This is what I understand.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare.
Thank you, Mataji. Sudhakar Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
First, I would like to really express my thankful to you today's lecture. When I was starting the class with the purport, nothing went into my mind by just reading that 4 words of the translation. But I think the way you explain, there is a lot of deep philosophy. I think I still need to contemplate on this one. I'm still not saying that I learned, but there are many things in this episode what so far I knowledge is even which we can apply in the practical day-to-day working life. So this is one thing I want to just express. Of course, I also had one doubt, which some couple of classes before I think I posted. I'm not sure whether you or not. My question was that in what we learned in the Bhagavatam was that Chitraketu, or that is Vitrasura, is liberated, right? Through the Indra. This is what I understood. But Indra kills the Vitrasura, right?
Your voice is breaking, Prabhu. We can't hear you.
Sorry. Is it clear now? Is it audible?
Yeah, it is audible.
What I understood from the further verses maybe is that the Vitrasura will be killed by Indra, right? And then and he will be reaching the Godhead. This is what I understood. And at that time,
it is previous chapters.
Yes, previous chapter. At that time, I had this doubt I asked, I think. So what my understanding at that time was Indra is also a celestial god. How come the killing by Indra can go to the Godhead? Because in the previous scriptures, what I learned is that
Okay. Yeah.
you remember,
So your question is how he is getting killed by Indra and still able to achieve the Vaikuntha planet, right?
yeah, that's what my initial question when
Okay. Yes.
episodes back.
Yes.
And now I understood Tattva Gyan here, but again, this part.
Yeah. There is one simple point here, Prabhuji. The destination of the jiva is not dependent on who killed him. Yes, there can be an additional input into it, just like if you see Dhruva Maharaj killing the Yakshas. The Yakshas immediately after getting killed reach the planet of Brahmaloka, which a jiva or a Ashtang yogi takes huge amount of time to reach that planet. But just by getting killed by the hands of pure devotee, they got that higher destination. So yes, getting killed by a devotee of Lord in itself is auspicious, also gives you a higher destination. But what takes you back to Godhead is not the person, but your mindset while leaving the body. And Dhritarashtra was absolutely 100% absorbed in the Lord, and that deep absorption took him back to Godhead. So service is more about absorption. It is not a physical activity. Success of service is how much were you absorbed in Krishna. And Dhritarashtra was 100% absorbed in Krishna. And that is how he became successful.
Yeah, yesterday's class also, the Mataji was talking about the same previous chapter about and it's all about the consciousness. So I was asking, yes, the consciousness, even though we change the body, the consciousness still remains. So that's what I think. If I had to interpret, even though he was a demon, he was doing a demonic act, but his consciousness was still serving the.
His consciousness was supremely divine. So it is not about body. It is about all about your consciousness. Body doesn't matter because that's just a covering.
Thank you so much. I think I hope I understood, but there is a lot of things for me to contemplate. But really, I should listen your classes or like these classes much more, not by reading. If I read on the internet, I don't think nothing will be piercing in my head. I think it's a great class, and I thank the group also for arranging this kind of lectures.
Yes. All these devotees are working day in, day out to make speakers available for devotees for their service. So indeed, we should thank every devotee of Bhakti Sangha group, especially the organizers who are working
I think it
hard.
is all the God's grace, Lord Krishna has sent you, or is speaking through you, to me at least.
Not me. My follow-up person is Shama
knowledge.
So you give all credits to her.
Knowledge, yeah. It is how I consider it. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That was really a very wonderful question, Dr. Prabhuji. Like you were saying, your understanding, your realization. That's what I was also meaning.
So here comes Mataji. He is the one.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So we thank all the speakers.
All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Wonderful class. And very nice, you gave the different perspective, like, to think about our devotional service. We are always happy, devotees are always happy chanting, and sometimes, you have to be ready for the next level, for the test. So, it's very kind of difficult, but if you are situated in that position, it might be easy. Don't know. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So yeah, we are really grateful to all the speakers who are all coming on Bhakti Sangha. So thank you so much to one and all. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So we can end the call here. So devotees, let's pay our obeisances to Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय
Special thanks to Lalita Mataji.
So much, Prabhuji.
Seeing them
Thank you, Lalita Mataji and Dinabandhu Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Gauranga, Nityananda.
Nityananda, Hari Bol,
Gauranga,
everyone.
Nityananda.
Nityananda.
Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much.
Happy Ekadasi to all EST devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Hare
happy
Krishna,
Ekadashi.
Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare
Happy
Krishna.
Ekadashi.
Happy
So
Ekadasi.
Mataji, when are we going to start chanting?
Mataji, you can send the message and start whenever you are comfortable, Mataji.
Yeah, maybe 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah, you can put in the group. Same message yesterday, I put the same one. You can copy paste and you can just put it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare
Closing the call for